MMA True Believers. I am Jason Burgos for Sherdog.com, and in this edition of the Corona Chronicles, I have the great pleasure of speaking with a legitimate influencer in this sport we love. He's the owner and head trainer of Factory MMA, a gym that houses many talented fighters like Francis Ngannou, and has been a lead force in the push for legalization of MMA in France. But he is also the co-founder and sporting director for Aries Fighting Championship. He is here to talk many topics, including the effects of coronavirus on the organization and what's going on in France with it as well. He's the one and only Fernand Lopez. Monsieur Lopez, thank you for the time tonight in a difficult time for many of us all over the world.
Wow, thank you very much. What an introduction! Yeah.
Thank you. Now, what was this decision to postpone the Aries Fighting's next event, its second ever event, for you and the other top decision makers in the organization? Was it one of the hardest choices you've all had to make in this business, in this fight sports business, or was it simple and was it an easy decision because of all the information out there and seeing what like one championship did, postponing events a little bit before you guys eventually did?
Well, there's two ways to see that. When you think about postponing an event, you're thinking about the fighter, about camps, about all those people, and then that become hard for you because there's people online, they're professional online, there are people that had the training camp and was thinking about how will showcase and then make money and then make people leave, and so you become emotional, and it's hard to announce that postpone to any event. But in the other hands, you have the situation that make it easy for you to take the decision, which is the global situation. I mean, we knew that the one I said was before us, but after that, we early decided to just stop it because of I have the honor to work with someone. I mean, the chairman in the Aries Fighting Championship, Robin Chalewachu, is very wise man. So I was thinking like, guys, this is not going to stop like in 2 weeks. Yeah. This is going to, and he had just think about the numbers right now. This is crazy. Yes. I mean, we have all over the world more than 370 cases, 1,000 cases. Yep. I mean, this is crazy. We have like close to 16,000 deaths. Can we imagine? We just think about the numbers saying that, well, 2 days ago there was 800 people dead in Italy. Mm-hmm. We just think about the number, but think about the family, people behind the dead. Yeah. People, there's people suffering really bad there. So postponing the Belgium wasn't something hard in that way, thinking about, I mean, there's people laying down, there's dead people. So at some point it become even immoral. It become even not decent to keep, I mean, the war, the sentence show must go on.
Yeah.
So cannot go on because you have to, stop a little bit, think about what's going on, and then think about the safety, the healthy, and this is the major part of the sport, right? If a fighter cannot be healthy, if a fighter cannot be, if cannot find the safety around him, then what's the point? I mean, our group is, our company is depending of Vivendi, which is a mass media well-known. And we have the responsibility to take the decision, and we took that decision hardly when we think about people involved in that in the business, but easily when we think about what's going on out there.
Well, when you were going through the decision before you eventually all decided to postpone, was there any thought about doing an empty arena event, sort of like one had did before that in Singapore, and then eventually the UFC did in Brazil? Was there thought about maybe moving into a different site, like the UFC was trying to do for cards and stuff like that? Was that did that come into play at all, and just didn't make any sense either?
To be honest, we thought about it. We thought about the closed door venues. We thought about we to be honest, we eventually thought about the opportunity to that, because in any situation there can be any opportunity. Like thinking about, okay, we can have some content, we can move forward, we can build something, but then again, the board, all the board. I mean, there's a lot of people working on very smart people. I'm thinking about Guillaume Nel. I'm thinking about Emmanuel Busquets. I'm thinking about Benjamin Safati. There are people around us. With the chairman, Robin Chalewachu, we was thinking about it and then thought again, and we felt that it's wrong. There's something wrong going on with the we know, like try to use this opportunity. If there's not that much people on the floor, you can go on, but at some point you feel like maybe this is wrong. Maybe we should just step a little bit back, go home, and try to keep working at home. I mean, before you, I just had a meeting with all the board, talking about a video meeting like I'm doing with you right now, and we was talking about the process. I mean, working about all our process. I was working about the development, which country, how to move, because we know that we were scheduled for August 1st in South Africa. And unfortunately, we will have to, cancel that fight, because yesterday the president of South Africa just decided to close the border.
Wow.
Meaning that if we can keep fighting, we can keep to have people traveling, but we have 24 people in the fight card. Means that we're giving 24 chance to have someone sick getting in the venue anyway. And this person probably, when we will test him, by the time that we test him, it will be negative to the test. And then by the time that he leaves the venue, it may be positive and then, be contagious. So this is a hard call to do, but we need to call back and think a little bit and see how we can play that again.
Was there like a lot of damage control, for you and other folks in the leadership when it came to telling the fighters about this particular Aries 2 being canceled, to let them know, but you got to let them know, okay, it's postponed, but we got to guarantee that, you will fight again at some point. Was that difficult to explain to fighters, or did a lot of them kind of understand and they could, saw what's going on in the world? They were like, yeah, I get it. It's frustrating, but I totally get it.
In there's a little bit of everything, the wall of MMA is like the really life. Like you can have people, they can understand you, and then you have people not ready to understand you right now. The first the postponing in a Belgium venue, that was hard. To be honest with you, calling people was hard in terms of people that couldn't understand, because there was a bunch of events around Brussels, Antwerp, man. There was a lot of fight going on around, and they was keeping advertising, saying that they're going on, no matter what's going on, they will have a fight. And we were stopping the fight. So I remember I had Nordin Taleb on the phone, and Nordin Taleb said to me, "Coach, I don't understand. Why this? Why will you cancel the fight? We still very far from the date." and you're postponing the fight. I don't understand, because this show is still on. This show is still on. And I'm like, this is how you become responsible. At some point, if you want to be a leader, a major organization in the world, if you want to be leader, you need to be the one to make the step, and then do the right decision, which is step back. And after that, 2 days after that, Northern Talent just published this on his Twitter, saying that is really disappointed for the fight, but is happy because, I mean, he's thinking about the people sick out there, and thinking about the people, the dead people, and yeah, saying that he's praying for them. So yeah, people, you need time to let the people digest what you just got information, and then with the time, the people, obviously there's empathy on people, and they can understand.
Without a doubt, right now, the virus is the biggest concern, but serious economic trouble will come all over the world if it hasn't already in certain places. As financially strong as France is, a multi-week lockdown is not good for it. Aries FC is backed, like you mentioned, by Vivendi. Is Vivendi expected to be fine, when economic hardship comes? Is there a concern that, they might cut ties with the organization to save money, like a lot of major businesses are doing all over the world? UFC cut fighters last week. Or are they in this for the long haul? No matter what happens, Vivendi is behind the organization through this all the way.
Listen, the best thing to do, I will put you in touch with Vivendi. That's the best thing to do for you, to have the good information and the best data about it. I'm serious about it. I will think to put you in touch with my colleague. He's talking about the numbers and about the what the group Vivendi can do, which is Robin Chalewachu. What I can tell you is that we are very good on that. They are very good on dealing with that kind of situation, which is not easy. Like, it's not something to take lightly. It's not easy to deal with that, because the economic concern will impact everyone, almost everyone. That will be crazy. There will be out there people struggling a lot with no income, with no future. There are people that cannot work from home because their work is not allow them to work from home. Like, my gym is closed. Yeah. I was one of the first gym to close in Paris. As soon as I had the information about what was going on exactly, I just asked my people to close the main gym that I have in France, and means that fighters are not training anymore, means that there's not money coming in anymore, means that so definitely this situation will be. I don't think the virus will go out just like that overnight. I think that they will take time. We can tell, seeing China, they are out of virus. They didn't have any contamination since 3 days, but they're still in that situation. And we in France, we're soon going up. Let me check this. In France, we have right now 60,000 cases.
Wow.
We have 1,500 deaths.
Wow.
It's too much. So only today we have 1,500 people contaminated today. So this is too much. This is only going up. If I check the numbers on Belgium, is the same thing. They have like 3,000 cases. They have like 586 new cases only today.
Wow.
Only today. And they have like 75 deaths. So everything is going up every day. So we don't know when this thing going to stop. So we really need to think differently. We need to start to think that that's what we RS are having meetings like this today. With RS, we had 2 meetings. Okay, one morning, one in the afternoon, and we were thinking how to adapt. How to adapt is I'm a believer of Darwin. Like, it's not the intelligent people or the strong people who will survive. It's the one who adapt. And we're trying to adapt the way to see the business, the sport business. We are trying to adapt the way to bring the entertainment differently. We are trying to adapt on the timing. What would be the good timing to plan to start again the show? So, yeah.
And I'm glad you brought up, just the personal aspect, what's going on in France, because that's what I was going to ask about next. Like, you mentioned your gym's closed. That's an issue for everybody all over the world. It's happening here in the U.S. And the numbers you mentioned, I'm in New York here in the U.S., which is like the worst place right now in the U.S. in terms of cases and stuff like that. What's your daily life? Because researching for this, I saw that a lot of France is on lockdown. And what do you... can you do? Like, can you are you just allowed to go to the store, get groceries, that kind of thing, but everybody's staying in? Like, what are you doing to keep yourself busy and active? Because you have such a busy and active life. You're a coach, a sporting director, do all these things. All of a sudden, you're just staying home. Like what's life like right now for the last couple of weeks for you?
To be honest with you, I'm fucking busy. I'm still I mean, you just saw that we're supposed to start this interview 10 minutes before, but I was too busy and I couldn't have the good time with you. And I mean, the restriction said that I can go shop, but I need to have a note that I write down that not that I'm saying that I'm saying that I give an attestation, like saying that I engage myself, that I'm going straight to the shop and then go back home. So if I have any control, any there will be sought. And I can go to the pharmacy if I need some medication. I can go to I can help some family if I need anything with if someone, some relative need me, I can shows up there. But they ask us to stay home, locked down, totally locked down. So that's what I'm doing. I didn't get out of my place since 7 days.
Woo! Wow!
Since 7 days. Wow. I went out one time. That was 2 days ago.
Wow!
Because I was going crazy. I just went in my garage and I started the car and I went for the belt. Called that peripheric. Is like the belt around the city. So it's like kind of highway that you just go in and you are not going in the city. So I had the round of all the bed in the car with the window open, everything open, so I can have fresh air. So I went around with the car and then went back to my garage and then went back home. So 7 days lockdown.
Wow.
The routine is very simple. Wake not early because I'm kind of, when I finish the work, a little bit late. Because I don't have my daughter with me, so we split. She's with Mora, so I will. I don't sleep very early because I feel like I don't have any obligation to wake up early. So I just get in the TV and try to watch any movie that I miss to watch. So I kind of delay a little bit my way to sleep. So I wake up around 9, 10, and then I get connected with two colleagues of mine. Nicolas Hott is the conditioning training in my gym, a very good coach, MMA coach. And he's my conditioning guy. So I have him online. and then I connect with Benjamin Safati. Is working for the development in RS, and we got pre-online, and then we start the training. We have like 45-minute training and conditioning, and then after that shower and breakfast, and then I start the work, meeting or just paperwork, everything about making the process, get reading everything. We're working about a lot of things that coming up. We'll announce soon. We're working about a reality show. So there's a lot of things coming up, and that keep me busy. And then I get some journalists calling, and then we can talk about things about French journalists, some people like you also oversized journalists, and that's my routine. And then when I finish, I will have cook my dinner, and then probably have keep going on. I mean, resume one series or whatever on TV, and then watch a little bit some information. I like that to go to the original feed. Like I will try to go to Rai 1, Rai 2, Rai 3 for the Italian people, so I can know what's going on exactly over there. I will try to get on CNN or BBC to know what's going on in UK or overseas. I would like to go to Al Jazeera to understand very well what's going on in that part of the world. And then after that, I'm going to the bed.
Now, talk to me about the African MMA or martial arts scene, because promoting fighting in that region of the world, along with Europe, is what makes Ares FC different. I watched the 2014 segment on the TV show, or the news show Vice, covering lamb wrestling, and I was blown away. I loved it. Why is promoting the fight scene in Africa important to Aris, and for you being a native of Cameroon? Is there a strong belief that there is a lot of talent and a large fan base, to build from there, sort of kind of like what Combate Americas is doing with like Spanish language fans and building that market that's kind of underserved by a lot of other promotions around the world?
Well, I think the first thing to do is to say is about wrestling. If you think the best weight class in the world, what is it?
Heavyweight.
I mean, no, heavyweight, right? You know me about heavyweight.
Yep.
You know that I really love that weight class. Yeah. That weight division, I'm in love with that weight division. And I thought that we can have some beasts in Dakar, Senegal. People that can just change the game. People that can just come there with the strong DNA and make something different, So that's why we first thought that we can go there, and that was the choice of the board. I mean, it's not only me, because Vivendi, before doing the MMA, was doing boxing, was doing cyclism, bike, and therefore we thought that that can be good to be there in South Africa, and the purpose on RS is to make you guys get a new talent out there, new people, new talent, new way to fight. I'm from Cameroon. There's so many good fighters from Cameroon. I'm thinking about Ramos Sukuju. I'm thinking about if you think that it can be Alain Galani is fighting in the ONE FC. I'm thinking about Francis Ngannou. I'm thinking about, there's so many good fighters out of the country, but they are out of the country. They are out of Africa. Francis is living in Vegas. Ramos Sukuju living in California. People are all around the world. So we need to find the place that we can have local people fighting. So, and to be honest with you, I don't have the artists cannot financially they can't afford Francis Ngannou.
Yeah.
But they can because he's not free agent, right? So all the big name I just told you about Cameroonian, they are already, they are already engaged in in contrast somewhere. Nigerian people, they are the same. I cannot afford Usman Camero. He's a big champion. I mean, I'm proud of him because African, but Usman is, Dana Wari would kill me, right? So I can get close to him. I eventually tried to sign Mohamed Camaro, the young, the brother, I don't know if he's young or elder brother, I don't remember. But the brother of Usman Camaro, Mohamed, the heavyweight also, he just signed with the PFL. Yeah. So I tried to sign him, but we are trying to. We decided to go in Senegal, and that was a good place to go because now everyone know about Reug Reug, right? Everyone know about this base, and I think if this coronavirus slow down a little bit, this guy Reug Reug will be something because his training is making everything to get the best camp he can have. He's going to US, going in France, try to train he's really improving the game every day. And I'm so proud of him. So I think he can become something big.
I'm glad you brought up Reug Reug because in an interview I was reading with you, you mentioned that the contracts you have for your fighters have UFC clauses in them, that they can leave and go to the UFC, sort of like what LFA has in a lot of promotions. But if the promotion does grow, would a switch to more exclusive contracts be something you're thinking about? Or maybe you're talking about already, because perfect example, Reug Reug. Everybody knows this guy now. Everyone knows him. And that seemed like the perfect exclusive fighter that, the promotion can build around. Because now that everybody knows about him, Dana White probably knows about him now. And he's going to want to look at him. Like, is there a point where you have to think about switching over to exclusive contracts to build the brand and build stars from it?
Well, we will see. Everything is about negotiation, right? If it comes about Reug Reug, there will be negotiation on the table probably. And if we feel that we can offer to Reug Reug something better than the UFC, I mean, he will probably stay with us because he's the one signing the contract at the end of the day. So the market is open. I don't think that we should close the market with the UFC because we have so much good relationship with them. Like, did you ever heard about any shows who goes on the UFC Fight Pass in the very first show? No one did that before. So we have very strong relationship. We build something very, very strong, and we are willing to work with them and open every time that if they seek someone and they think that they could be good for their business, I will let him go. And if they ask someone and I said we still need Reug Reug for this time because of this, because they will understand. So I don't really, we try to build something good with the matchmaking team in the UFC.
Talk to me about the additions, and notable, they're good big signings of Juan Adams, Chris Curtis, John Moraga, Wilson Reis. A lot of them were going to fight on the second event. All of them are names familiar to American fans. Are these signings not only to add depth and make the roster that much stronger, but is it to appeal to American fans and build that American fan base just as much as about building an African and European fan base?
Well, having a show named Afro-European show do not mean that we limited people to Europe and Africa. What we mean is that our business model is based on broadcasting. I mean, so we are globally broadcasted. Yeah. So we need to go overseas. We need to go in Asia. We need to give the content all over the world. That being said, that's why, in order to have that, we need to sign people. They can make American people watch the TV. So that's what we're doing. We just try to get the best free agent guy out there. If there's anyone going out of the UFC ready to go to the UFC and don't have the contract yet, the place to be is the RS because we really bring the best way of broadcasting that we're giving for the UFC to accept us in the very first show is because technically what they saw on the paper was just crazy about the quality of what we could do on production. And on top of that, we pay fighter decently. Like fighter know that they will get what they deserve when they sign with us. So if there's any fighter there that feel like he deserves to get this amount of money because it's good, because it's top something, this the place to be. Like we just signed this guy from Russia, Maslov. His name is Alexander Maslov, heavyweight. He's on the list of the top 10 guy that UFC should sign. You know, and this guy, I told him that when we was talking about the money thing, and I told him, well, you will be free to go to the UFC because I think you're on the list of people that UFC will want you. And he said, man, I would like to stay in your league for a long time. And it's more, I mean, people, they really appreciate what we are doing. And they're happy to stay there. That's what we're looking for. People that like to grow with the younger organization, to grow with us and see what we can happen. But what can happen. We are there to bring to sign good people. Like if you think about this guy, Wilson Reis, the guy fought for the belt in the UFC, got out of the UFC, but still, if you go in the fight matrix, the guy still ranked in the top 10. Crazy, right? If you think about John Moraga, fought for the belt also. And if you think about there's so many good guys that would bring in. If you think about Juan did good in the UFC. But what people don't know is that this kid is very young. Very, very young. And on top of that, he didn't have, according to him and his management, he didn't have a best camp. He just moved now to Jackson. So Jackson is intent Jackson. They are thinking how to change his way to certified, to bring him the strategy, to bring him the best way to have a camp. And I think this kid can become something. He can learn, grow, and become I think he got in the UFC very early, too early, and then you need to step back a little bit, learn a little bit, and then go back again in the big board. So yeah, this is our intention.
When a lot of, for someone like Moraga and Hayes that you mentioned, they're established. They've been in the UFC. They've been in major fights in the UFC. Both of them, I think, fought for titles, or at least Moraga was close in the conversation. Perception is always a big deal, especially when a new organization or an organization is coming around asking for you to join them, especially when you're a big name like that. Was the perception when you went to those guys easy? Were they kind of like, Aris, I don't know, like, or were they like, they know you, they know your reputation, you have a well known in the sport, after the first event with Reug Reug, has it been getting easier, especially with those established names, to when you put the contract down, say, hey, we want you here? Are guys far more open and interested, than they maybe were 6-7 months ago? Or is it about when you put the money down that contract, they're like, oh, works for me, that dollar amount, I like that?
Not that easy.
Okay.
Not that easy. There's sometimes people, they need to get educated. There's people that I was I can't remember. I was talking with I was about to sign this guy. What is the name of the guy who kills Mikko Krok?
Well, I forget. I mean, he's been created a couple times, so.
Come on, you're hard with me. Oh no, I'm talking about oh Jesus, this guy is from Brazil, heavyweight. And
Gonzaga.
Napao Gonzaga. There we go. And Napao was a little bit. We didn't sign him because at some point he was asking an advance on money.
No, okay.
Which is normal, which is correct. When you don't know someone and you are signing for a big amount of money, you want to make sure that you have a little bit money so you can prepare your camp.
Yeah.
But because of Vivendi being a global company, a major mass company, we don't give any that kind of advance of money.
Okay.
We don't do that. I mean, like, there's some process that you have to do, right? And so yeah, but mostly of the time, there's two things who help Vivendi. First of all, when you know who is Vivendi, you don't have any doubt of the credibility, first of all. The second thing is that mostly people don't know the trust me, don't know that in the sport business, MMA, I'm a good guy, and they trust me a little bit on that. Like, I had a show, the only show who took place in Paris 3 years ago. The only show with MMA rules in Paris, with octagon, with ground and pound, everything was my show. And the show was sold out 44 hours before the show.
Wow.
Like literally 48 hours. That was literally in 2 days, the show was sold out. So, people do know that I deliver. If I have something, if I say something, I deliver. I always deliver. And so people they tend to just trust me and say, okay, let's go, let's do this. So yeah.
Any conversation with you will often include Francis Ngannou, since he is one of the top stars in the biggest promotion in the world. First, what were your thoughts on his postponed matchup with Jairzinho Rozenstruik? Is he right up there as one of the most dangerous strikers in the UFC heavyweight division, along with Francis, and a very tough test stylistically for Francis in that fight?
Yeah. No, he belonged there. I think Jairzinho is a solid guy. You cannot count him out. No. Jairzinho he worked hard to get there. The guy just knocked out over him. The fight wasn't easy, but he did it. And I think he belongs there. But again, Francis is another level. I definitely think that Francis is something above. It's another level. But this is heavyweight, right?
Yeah.
And everything can happen.
Yes.
And whenever you get in the top 10, whenever you get even in the top 15, like Cyril Gane, you are in.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in and you can knock out everyone, and everyone can knock you out, right? So that's the point.